Not going away from CCP. He's taking on mobile for us, which is a huge initiative, and we'll be talking about that tomorrow in more detail, how we're about to rein in everything we've been doing over the years. But like John was saying, one of his biggest remit was to put the shape of the team by structure and processes and whatnot, so the EVE team could take on fantastic challenges in the future. And I'm sure you can all agree with me that it is in fantastic hands when you see what Antti Nordgren and Stoffer have to walk us through. So, Antti and Stoffer.
Hi everyone, I'm CCP Seagull, Senior Producer for EVE Online.
I'm Christopher, or CCP Soundwave. I'm the lead game designer of EVE Online.
And we are here to talk about Odyssey. All right. So when we set out to create this expansion that we were going to ship very close to the 10th anniversary of EVE Online, we went back to actually this launch website from 2003 because it contains what I believe to be what you could call one of the original promises of EVE Online. It has a few key things here. It's thousands of systems. It's exploration. It's the people out there that you could encounter. And the opportunity that comes from really the promise of this whole universe out there. So Odyssey is really a celebration of that universe itself.
A lot of sci-fi is pretty closely linked with exploration. It's about finding new frontiers. It's about finding new planets, new alien races, and so forth. I think in EVE, we haven't really delivered on that promise. And in EVE, exploration was doing a bit of scanning, getting into a combat ship, shooting NPCs, and essentially just mopping up loot the same way you do it in a mission. So we want to change that with Odyssey.
So we've put together a broad set of changes across the whole game to make sure that people have a purpose of their choice to head out there and really experience this universe that we have. So let's just tell you about all the features in Odyssey. Let's get to it. First off, star bases. We're doing personal storage, the ability to swap out T3 subsystems, accessing everything inside the POS shield without moving around, and a number of other small things. And we hope you really enjoy those changes.
We've always seen it as a bit of an issue that no matter how many billion you sunk into your 0.0 station, it was never as good as an Empire station, so we fixed that. I think we've also rebalanced more ships than ever before. We rebalanced all the faction frigates, all the faction cruisers, all the faction battleships, and the Tech 1 battleships and the Tech 1 battle cruisers.
We're making changes to ore mining. For example, adjusting the mineral composition of several types of ore and introducing new varieties of asteroid clusters.
Now, if you don't like mining in belts and you like mining moons instead, there's going to be a few changes as well. We're going to be looking at the R64s, and we're going to be looking at the bottlenecks in T2 production.
Hell, it's about time!
We're moving ice belts into anomalies. These will spawn in systems that previously had ice belts. And because we know you care a lot about the details about some of these resource changes, we have 2 dev blogs going out right after this keynote. One about what changes are being made and why, and a companion blog which has all the numbers you might want. You can also join the developers who were involved in this in the Resource Rebalance Roundtable tomorrow at 1.
And if you like menus and radials, we've made a radial menu. Double them.
We are adding some amazing new jump transitions, and you'll see our updated, newly animated stargates just fold space-time in front of your eyes. Like, traveling around Eve was never this beautiful.
Not just the ships and the stargates, but we've actually also redone the interiors of stations.
We're adding new music to Wormhole Space and Nullsec.
And we added capital rings, so now they have their entire own class.
And of course, as some of you know, our amazing artists have reimagined the classic Apocalypse.
Speaking of the sound, we also redid the turret effects, we redid the module effects, and everything else related to the ship.
This is a special one for Hilmar. So we're adding new transitions to when you lose your ship and when you lose your pod to make this experience more sense-making, have less loading bars, and be more of a cinematic thing happening to you.
And of course, we've rebalanced a load of stuff, but we also want to give you some new ships. So there's going to be new Navy ships coming out. There's going to be a Brutix, a Drake, a Hurricane, and a Harbinger.
And for all you criminals out there, we're offering you a new way to repair your relationship with Concord.
And of course, Odyssey is going to have a gigantic feature with exploration. And if you want to get into it, a good place to start is the new updated career agents.
And now we're getting to the meat of the exploration features in Odyssey. So we're adding new modules and skills that affect different aspects of the scanning process.
We're also going to put in some preset formations, and we're going to let you know. So you guys really like the probes, eh? We're going to put in some new formations that you can kind of toggle around with. We're also going to let you launch 7 probes at once because that's the optimal number. Of course, if you hate math and science and you don't want to be efficient, you can still use your 3.
All right. We've moved discovery of signatures and anomalies into a gorgeous new scan sweep that gives you this great overview of things that are out there that you can go and explore.
So we've changed some of the sites around. We're now going to be calling the archaeology sites and the hacking sites, they're going to be data and relic sites. We've swapped out the kind of containers that no one really knew why we were floating around in space into actual interesting objects. So for example, the archaeology or relic sites are going to have kind of an old smashed up ship you can go in and kind of explore. Now, of course, once you find them in space, some of them will still be locked. In fact, they'll all still be locked. You luckily have the tools to try and get bypast that lock so you can get the stuff that's inside. The only downside, of course, is that once you get past the lock, you're going to break the container open and stuff is going to fly into space. So you have to be pretty quick and start grabbing it before it disappears.
So we're pretty excited about Odyssey, so we really want to show you some of these features in action and give you a preview of the development we currently have, or the build we currently have in development. So Stoff is going to take you through some of this.
You're not just getting to see Odyssey, you're also getting to see me play Eve, which is a bit of an experience. All right, guys, so I'm here in one of the new station environments. It's the redone interiors. Doesn't that look wonderful? I have my new Hurricane in here, looking all spacey and camouflaged, although I'm not sure why you'd really need camouflage in space, but we'll let that one slide. So let's say that I've been killing a load of people and losing sex status. I now have the option to repair it a little bit, right? So there's going to be these new tags that only drop in low sec that you can get, that you can sell on the market, or you can use them yourself. As you can see here, I'm currently at -3. I can drag that upwards, and there's going to be an ISP price as well. So I can just exchange tags now to go to -1. So that's going to make it a bit easier than the whole ratting for 40 hours straight, which I know that basically no one really enjoyed. So once we undock, there's going to be a few lights, a few sirens to kind of give a start to a docking animation. And once we get outside, you'll see that the system scanner is going to run for the first time, which you saw a picture of before. Let's just go outside. And when we get outside, you'll see the scan, and then I'll show you a ship that we've been redoing some of the B3 and 4. So you see our scanner runs. It's going to run again. So of course, with some of this stuff, you might not want it on the screen always, so it'll run and it'll give you kind of a hint on what's in the system. If you want it on permanently, you go down to our little scanning menu down here and just switch it on. So this is kind of some of the direction we're taking Odyssey in, because we really want an expansion that's about exploration, that feels like Odyssey, right? Because like the old exploration where you hit the system scanner and you get kind of a database dump that was a list, well, if we'd made an expansion around that, it would probably have been like something like EVE Online tax returns. So we're trying to get away from that. So we've redone a lot of the skins on the ship. So here's a new Titan. Also, as I mentioned before, we have a new radio menu, which is really, really handy. It does all kinds of really clever things. You can essentially use it on anything. So let's go to Stargate here, and it is really, really awesome. Once we get to the Stargate, you'll see that that's new as well. We've changed out the Stargates. They look like nice and fresh and from 2013. And then you're going to see the first step in what I call the war on loading bars. So I hate loading bars. I think they're old-fashioned, and I'd much rather give people something beautiful to feel that the game is like seamless, right? Because Eve is played on a single server, a single shard, and then you get to a gate and it feels like you're kind of changing instances. So we're going to deal with that, and I'll show you the new effect once we get to the gate. It looks really awesome. We haven't done anything with the warp effect, that just looks gorgeous. Do you want me to turn it up a little bit? Let's turn it up a little bit. Look at this. Oh. Actually, I'm going to turn it down just a little bit so I can talk a bit as well. All right, anyway, so let's use this radio menu here, right? Doesn't that look gorgeous? So, you know what, let's take a look at the new warp effect, and this is like, if you don't get a nerd boner right now, something's completely wrong with you. now, so you'll have to sit through it again.
Good old dev hacks.
Yeah. All right, the bad news is that the dev hacks I just used will not be shipping in Odyssey. So, conveniently, located right around the corner is all the ships we rebalanced. Just happened to be there. Also, the new APOC model. Notice how all the previous APOC models had like all the towers and like half-built stuff down there? It took us 10 years to finally build the APOC. They looked really good though. All right, so now that we've seen those, let's go back into scanning. So let's turn this one back on so we can kind of get a view. We can look around the system. So the green things here, they're anomalies, right? This happens to be an ice belt. So this is a pristine white glaze belt. That's the new place we're going to put ice. They're going to be not tied to downtime, of course, so when you can mine them out, they'll respawn after 4 hours. And hovering over this anomaly will give you the option to warp to it, it'll give you the option to bookmark it, and to probe if you want. So there's all these things in the system, and I'm going to show you just a few of the probing improvements we've done as well. So let's go into the system scanner. Yeah. All right, let's get this going. There we go. So the new formations are here, right? So there's something called a spread formation, which is really good to start out, and there's something called a pinpoint formation, which is good to get really low. So when I press here, automatically 7 probes. One thing we've also done is that instead of showing you guys a percentage, we've kind of divided the results into 3 different tiers, right? So there's a red result, which tells you if it's a signature, for example. There's a kind of a yellowish result, which tells you what kind of site it is, and then there's a green result, which tells you exactly what site it is and lets you warp to it, right? So here it's a little bit mysterious. We can build this bar up and gradually get more information. So I'm going to pull these probes in because you don't want to see me trying to find a signature. We'd be here all night. So I'm going to just use another quick hack here. So I'm going to spawn one of the new dungeons. This is one of the new archaeology sites. It's not fully furnished, but it does have the new objects in there, and you guys can get a look at kind of what we're trying to do with it. So we've taken the NPCs out of it first of all, because it seemed odd that when you go exploring and you try to find something, that you basically have to run a mission. It didn't really fit with the theme. It felt a little bit like gun mining, which was kind of competing with another one. So we want to make the exploration experience about exploring. You'll come in and you'll get to see these things. This looks a bit better than the old cans, doesn't it? So we're going to try and open it, which means breaking the lock. Now this is very much work in progress. It's going to look and feel a little bit different. But the idea is that you use a computer virus with a certain strength and hit points, which you're going to try and get through the defenses in here. So you're trying to click your way through, and you run into stuff like this, like firewalls that you have to fight through. You'll lose some hit points you see when you try to click through this one. And then in the end, oh, god damn it, this is full of firewalls. What is this? All right, so anyway, so we're going to try and click through this, and in the end, you'll get to essentially the mainframe here that you have to defeat to unlock the container, right? So you're going to attack it, and the system hack is successful, and what's going to happen here is that we see all these things are jettisoned into space. So I'm going to pick this one up. Red is bad. Red means we can't pick them up. Green means happy. We can only pick up one at a time, so it's pretty important that you bring a friend for this. So we're going to pick a few up of these. This guy's coming in as well, so I have 3 containers so far. That's fairly good. I'd like to get maybe 6 or 7. Let's see. So the white ones are going out of reach, which of course there are none because I'm a skilled pilot, so I just flew closer. But they're going to start disappearing off the thing, so you won't be able to pick them up on your own. So you can bring a friend, you can have a newbie or whoever come in there. These will only stay in space for a few seconds, essentially. And, ooh, is that CCP Fox 4 causing trouble? Luckily, I'm fit with absolutely nothing, and I think he might just blow me up. All right, let's try and reset the camera here. And you guys can watch me blow up this last one. This is pretty much how it ends every time I play him online. All right, guys, that was a quick intro to some of the stuff we've shown you guys on the slides. There's going to be devlogs, there's going to be information, and of course we're going to make sure that you get this in just about a month. Alright guys, anyway, that's a quick demo of the stuff we've just shown you here. There's going to be more devlogs, you can go try it on the test server, and otherwise you get it live on TQ in about a month. And that's it for me. So that was a little bit about now, and I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of CCP Seagull, and she's going to tell you a little bit about the future.
So yeah, Odyssey, June 4th, 2013. You looking forward to that? Yeah! I'm glad. But let's talk a little bit about what comes after Odyssey. So the theme for Odyssey was really about the universe itself, and this idea of the awe and wonder of exploring it. And beyond Odyssey, EVE Online will continue to be a game about space, about spaceships, and of course about the people who fly them. And before I tell you about the next theme that we're going to work with for the next several expansions of EVE Online, I want to talk a little bit about how we approach making expansions to EVE now. So we have this amazing science fiction universe where you can do stuff. And that's quite different compared to many other sci-fi worlds out there. Because this one is not made for you to just read about it or look at it. It's made for you to be a part of it. And we're really ambitious about this unique work of science fiction. And as we develop EVE Online going forward, we're going to continue to look at all of these things that we offer you to do in this universe and make sure that these are good, well-balanced, interesting systems that give you cool experiences. So that's kind of at the core of what we will continue to do. It's kind of the basics, right? And of course, we'll also add new things that you can do in this universe. But there's a lot of stuff that we could do, right? And so what we do now, to focus our efforts and to make it possible for us to take on bigger, more ambitious projects, is that we start with a science fiction theme. And we use that to frame what we focus on. It doesn't dictate everything we do, but it becomes a focal point where we can have multiple teams work together towards the same vision. But as we look at all the things that we could add to the game, we also look at a couple of broad types of player behavior that we want to support. So for example, we look at solo play. And solo play in EVE doesn't mean that you get to be left alone by EVE. But it means that you want to control your own time commitments and your own play, for example. It's a very common activity, both amongst people who like to only play like that, and also amongst people who do play with others, but have times where they want to play alone. And we will continue to support that playstyle, but in the universe of EVE Online, of course, which means you can't really, escape the world, and that's not what we're trying to do. And then, of course, we also look at people who want to play together and the systems and the features that we have that are suitable for that. And we look at these people that I've called enablers and instigators. So instigators are people who want to make an impact. It's the kind of person who turns around to their followers and says, we're going to build the first Titan in the game, or we're going to take over the North. Or, it doesn't have to be that big, right? It can also be, we're going to build the best mining corporation in the universe. And enablers are then the people who make those grand plans actually happen. And do all of the logistics required for any large-scale, ambitious project to be successful in EVE Online. And we want to make sure that there's plenty of exciting stuff for these people to do, and that it's actually possible to carry it out. Because my bet is that if these people are busy with creating purpose and shenanigans in EVE, we'll have a thriving universe full of exciting things, where new people who come into it, they will just have a whole menu of things they can choose between joining. So that's our base approach for how we think about adding things to the universe. And with each expansion, we try to hit all of these play behaviors so that there should be something for everyone, not based on what stuff and features you use now, but based on what we think you might also be interested in if it fit your play pattern. But like I said, this is not everything we do. We also work with, for example, the question of how people get into EVE Online. So EVE Online should continue to be this complex, intricate, hardcore game. And it should be hard to master, but it should be much, much easier to get into. And to work with that, we use this question of, what should I do now, asked from a player perspective? And to look at what kind of answers are we providing to that question. Because sometimes we give you a lot of information, but we don't necessarily bring you to a place where you know what to do next, what makes sense given where you are in the game, what you should do now. So that's how we work with that question. This year, we'll also start really looking into your experience as an EVE Online player outside the client. And I'm not talking about new games now, I'm talking about how you as an EVE player can connect with EVE Online outside the client. So you'll see more and more of this stuff from us. And of course, we're also making plans and we have vision for, the whole sign up, download, and patching question for, it's kind of essential that you get the game, right? And of course, we'll continue to improve our community tools, and we'll also continue to invest in supporting tools for third-party developers, because those people make a lot of applications that I bet all of you use to make your experience with EVE Online better. So, that should tell you a little bit about how we approach this. But now, let's talk about the next science fiction theme that we'll be working with for EVE Online. And I want to ask you to dream with me here, beyond the details of how EVE Online currently works. Think about space colonization. Think about the space-scale construction required to make it happen. Think about building things. Think about destroying things. Think about the rise of the capsuleers taking over what the empires used to control. Imagine what you want to build in EVE Online, from missiles to an empire. Imagine your corporation flying its own colors. Imagine the might of your alliance used to build up whole areas of space. Think about raiding and stealing from your enemies. Think about all the opportunities for crafty capsuleers to make money and fame in this new era of colonization. Think about home, what that means to you. And then imagine what could lie beyond the known if only you could construct the right kind of Stargate. And join us on this journey for the next several expansions to EVE Online, starting with winter 2013. That's our vision for EVE Online. And that's it for me. I'll hand back to Omar.
Wow, building stargates. Woo! How do we feel about that? How do we feel about the anti-stopper show? Okay. I have here on the screen something we showed at Fanfest 2005. There, some crazy people, Kjartan and Hjörtur, put together an atmospheric flight prototype with using the EVE Online client and the assets and whatnot. And these are actually pretty amazing things they were able to pull together in not a lot of time. And this became something that people were excited about, and we eventually got it done. We can now fly a dropship over a planet in dust. And of course that meant founding a studio in China, making a PlayStation 3 game, connecting it back into EVE Online, taking it to Fanfest 2 times, and here it is. So from 2005 to 13, good amount of time passed. But now let me stand here on the 10-year birthday of EVE Online, and we're talking about the second decade and all those things. It's relevant to come and show something that is basically from the future. So an amazing sort of grassroots initiative happened about bringing something sort of really new into the EVE universe, using sort of technology that is about to become available in the real world. Here are the guys that have been working nights and weekends to put this together. Very much sort of self-formed. It's a wonderful thing. And I'm now gonna play a trailer which they put together, which sort of explains what this is about. They have assembled this amazing experience, which makes you look like this. Yeah, it's impossible to demo on stage, so because you look like this when you do it. But just to channel some of the enthusiasm over it, we of course have been working with people of Oculus and also with the guys at Unity. It so happens David Helgason, the CEO of Unity, is a good friend of mine, and I asked him to make a comment on this, and he sent us some proposals, and he sent us various videos, and I'm actually going to play something which is not what he wanted us to play. So there's a little joke on him for not being here. He's a be here, he's Icelandic. So here he is. Okay.
Josh, to all you crazy people at Fanfest. As you have discovered, CCP got together with Oculus and used Unity to create this crazy experience. So, you know, just have so much fun with it. Cheers.
Okay, so as of 10 o'clock tomorrow, the team will be on the Harper site on the first floor, and you will get to try this and look like me from 10 to 4 tomorrow. Of course, showing up there at 10 is going to be a challenge because now we're about to start Pub Pro. But I can tell you, waking up for this is going to be worth it. So, it's now Pub Pro. It's the 10th birthday, it's the start of the second decade, so it's going to be a pretty epic Pub Pro. It's record attentions. I hope my little toy town that is Reykjavik is going to survive what you're about to bring onto it. So, but just to get everyone sort of in the right mood, we put together a little sort of video to thank you for the first 10 years. And I'm not going to play that through to put you sort of in the right frame of mind. So just get the lights out, because we also have the Eve team here on stage with us. So give it all applause. Please stand up.